The Fractal Design Torrent RGB is one of the contenders for Case of the Year, thanks to its unique airflow-focused design and the usage of larger than usual fans as the main intake of the case. The Torrent is a completely different take on the PC case concept, especially when compared with Fractal Design's own flagship model, the Define R6. One of the best things about this case is the way it looks, and it looks stunning, because it takes a different approach than what the rest of the industry is doing. While this case is brand new and has a lot of potential, everything comes at a price, quite literally, and the Torrent RGB is available for around $239.99 or the equivalent in euros. This places the case around the high-end models offered by other manufacturers, such as the Be Quiet Silent Base 802 or, for example, some Lineali models. However, the price will vary based on your location and what variant of the Torrent you choose. The Fractal Design Torrent RGB is clearly made to offer as much airflow as possible, and that's obvious when looking at it from the front. This massive front grille is designed to be as non-intrusive as possible. There are several differences between this case and other models, differences that make the Torrent RGB stand out from the crowd. First, the front side of the case uses two 180mm fans that spin at over 1200 RPM, which does not seem like a big deal. However, these fans are not 120 or 140, these are 180mm fans. A bigger fan can spin slower and deliver a better airflow. As a side note, bigger fans is one of the main reasons why the original Silverstone Raven cases were regarded as one of the best cases for airflow to this day. Behind the main front grille there is a simple fine mesh filter. It's easy to remove, quite solid, and looks to do a great job. Also, this front panel, it looks great, but it is made entirely out of plastic. Now I get it, cost of production has to be kept low, but this is insulting on a case that is no less than $240. The biggest issue is that a lot of people, when they move their system around, they will want to grab the top part of the front panel, and this being made out of plastic, well, I won't be surprised if it's going to snap in two. As a contrast to this plastic structure used on the front panel, this panel is fortunately completely toolless and very easy to remove from the case, which is not good, but great, because nothing is worse than a hard to remove panel that houses the main dust filter of the case. It will basically just discourage everyone from cleaning their dust filters in regular intervals. Speaking of dust filtration, the second dust filter of this case is installed at the bottom of the case, and it can be easily removed from the front. You just slide it out and get it cleaned. Nothing special and very convenient. This filter also covers the entire surface of the bottom of the case, which is great, especially since there are additional fans installed on the floor. The Torrent RGB Tempered Glass Edition has a total of 5 fans pre-installed. These fans will vary based on what model you get. For example, the cheaper non-RGB Torrent case has the same fans but without any RGB, while the model featured in this review has the top-spec Fractal Design Prisma AL14 and Prisma AL18 fans. Even with fast fans already pre-installed, there is room to add more, at least one 140 or one 120mm fan at the back of the case. The I/O panel of this case is placed on the top and includes a large round power button, a single USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and 2 audio jacks, 1 headphone and 1 microphone jack. There's also a small reset button on the side, which unfortunately can be easily pressed by mistake given its location and shape. With the removal of the top panel, we get to see other crucial differences between the Fractal Design Torrent and other mainstream cases. The Torrent has its power supply installed at the top, not on the floor of the case, and the power supply space is very easy to access as the top panel is only attached to the chassis by 2 plastic clips and 2 metal thumb screws at the back. With the latter removed, you just slide the panel towards the back of the case and it will pop out. Space available for the power supply is large, with a length of around 230mm available. In addition, the power supply sits on thick rubber pads and has plenty of cutouts for cable management and especially for airflow. A nice touch here is the included Velcro cable strap at the front, which is included for an easier wire routing towards the backside of the motherboard tray. Another great feature of this case is found at the back, and it's these Velcro straps that will hold down the power cable. Usually this wouldn't be required because the power supply is at the bottom of the case, but in this case, no pun intended, these Velcro straps are needed to address this issue. On the Torrent RGB tempered glass variant of this case, both side panels are made from tempered glass, no joke, and have a good tint on them. The way you remove these is pretty simple. You just pull from the top side and they will release from their slots. It's easy, simple and quite safe. However, I would have liked to see a more secure system, such as the one used on the Be Quiet Silent Base 802, which uses a plastic enclosure and a button plus latch system. On the opposite side of the case, we have the storage of the case and the bulk of the wire management. At the front of the case, there are no less than 4 SSD trays, each attached to the chassis with just a single metal stub screw. It's a simple system and it's reliable, and the reposition will help with the wire management as the SSDs can be faced towards the rubber grommets of the case. On the lower part, we have the infamous fan hub, and I say infamous because this little fan hub is the subject of some controversy. Well, not really. Basically, all cases, at least at the beginning of the production, will have their fan hubs replaced. Why? Because this fan might create some issues, such as shorting itself out. However, Fractal Design was very fast in identifying the issue and addressing it by releasing an updated and new fan hub as a replacement. To get the new fan hub, head over to the Fractal Design website and support page and request one based on your cased serial number. In this case, Fractal Design deserves some praise as they handle this problem with grace, unlike other manufacturers. On the back side of the motherboard tray, there are 2 additional storage trays. These are the standard 3.5 inches that can handle standard hard drives. In a market that heavily focuses on M.2 SSDs and regular SATA-based SSDs, seeing such a high-end case take the time and space to include 2 HDD trays is a great touch. And I'm saying this because while the M.2 SSD route is the best in terms of speed and ease of installation, a hard drive is still the best way and cheapest way for mass storage of files. The inside of this case is matching the outside. It has a simple layout, yet many things are different, and I've mentioned most of them already. Things such as the power supply at the top, or the usage of bigger fans at the front and regular 140mm fans on the floor. One thing to add here is the way the rear of the case is designed. While other cases have some honeycomb pattern vents cut out on the frame, the Torrent RGB has the entire surface of the back side panel cut out to the shape of a honeycomb. This opens the case even more for airflow and aids with the exhaust of the air. When we talk about radiator support, the Torrent RGB has a lot to offer. At the front, you can install radiators up to 360 or 420mm in size, and at the bottom is the same deal, up to 360 or 420mm. You can also install a smaller radiator at the back, either a 120 or a 140mm, but honestly, why even bother? The accessories of this case are plentiful, as you can expect. You get a user manual, a small microfiber cloth to clean the glass side panels, around 8 zip ties for wire management, 2 fan brackets which allow you to install 120 and 140mm fans at the front of the case instead of the included 2 180mm fans, and finally you get a really nice metal-made graphics card support bracket. The installation process with the Fractal Design Torrent couldn't be made easier. The side panels can be removed with ease and everything is accessible. The storage is located at the back of the case, and you can just see in this photo that there isn't much to say here. You just attach your SSD or small form factor hard drive on the tray and attach the tray to the case. There is plenty of space on the lower part of the case, plenty to route all the wires of the pre-installed fans, and in addition, at the top of the motherboard there is enough space to pass through the power CPU cable. Also, the power supply shroud is not too close to the motherboard, thus it allows for fresh air to enter the power supply. This is important to mention, as usually with a power supply installed at the top, the power supply intake would draw in all the warm air exhausted by the CPU cooler. The CPU used on this new case testing platform is the Intel i5-4690K, which is overclocked manually to 4.3 GHz on all cores. The CPU cooler used in this particular review is the factory stock Intel CPU cooler. Don't worry, that will change with feature case reviews once I choose what CPU cooler is the best suited one for case testing. And the temperature of the CPU in the case of the Fractal Design Torrent RGB with all fans running at their maximum speed is 85 degrees Celsius with the ambient temperature set at 26 degrees Celsius. This places the Torrent RGB at the top of the charts, well ahead of the Be Quiet Silent Base 802 over the Be Quiet Dark Base 700. When we talk about the graphics card temperature, it's the exact same scenario. The used graphics card in this case is the Asus GTX 780 Direct CU2, and with the Torrent RGB, the temperature of the graphics card never went above 68 degrees Celsius, which again places this case at the top of the charts. The Fractal Design Torrent gets this performance thanks to its included fans and the internal layout used. However, there is a drawback to these things: the noise output of the fans, which is quite high, at 50 decibels at maximum speed, with the recording device placed at the standard distance of 10 cm away from the system and the case. The Fractal Design Torrent is a great case for multiple reasons, the main one being its raw performance. This is one of the few cases that pushes the envelope in terms of airflow, and that's mostly thanks to the usage of larger fans that are designed to offer a good airflow and not just look good. The design of this case is good and different than what other manufacturers are producing right now. The front panel is made from plastic, but it is a solid plastic and should last you a long time. However, don't try to carry the case by just pulling on that panel alone. Make no mistake, this case is not cheap at all, especially the top of the line model with RGB and tempered glass side panels. However, that price is justified not only by the performance but also by the options offered. From the factory you have a good fan placement, and if you want to go the water cooling route you can with ease, and you have plenty of options for that. The build quality is great, but the usage of plastic is not that great. It works, but at the end of the day plastic is plastic and it's not better than metal, and I'm talking mostly about the plastic clips which can and will break given the opportunity. Also, the system used to keep the side panels in place is rather basic and something which would have been alright in a sub $100 case, but not on this one. This is one of the few cases that I can offer the Editor's Choice Award, because even though it has its shortcomings, they are nothing compared to the overall package, which is good looks and especially good performance and good build quality. If you like this review, then you might consider subscribing for more, and if you want to support me in a direct way, then in the description below you will find the links for the Patreon and the subscriber star pages of this channel.